I didn't actually know it started until 5 minutes in.
What?
I literally had to turn around to Fraser and ask if it had started, and it had.
So that face is Jess. Now, she's appeared on the channel before, but one of the interesting things about her is she has never seen a single entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I decided to sit her down and get her to review the new Marvel film, Thor, Love and Thunder.
But first of all, I think I'd better give you my opinion on the film first. Look, if you were to compare it to Ragnarok, I'd probably say Ragnarok was better. I just think overall it probably had a bit more focus and was probably a little bit funnier, but that's not to say Thor Love and Thunder doesn't work very well. First of all, the film is obviously just very funny, and that's what you need out of a Taika Waititi film. Also, I was surprised how well Gore as a character worked for me. In terms of, obviously, the MCU villain problem that people like to talk about, I think this was a villain that had a little bit more to say, had a little bit more of an interesting backstory, and posed a quite interesting threat. Also, one of the things I would like to bring up is it had a lot of, like visually, I think it's one of the most interesting films of the MCU. Just the way visuals were created with colours and all. If you go and watch it again, notice how a lot of the fight scenes just so visually striking. Like the choreography is quite standard MCU, but in terms of being visually striking, it works really well. Like, in terms of, visually striking things, a lot of the stuff with, the black and white, and then when we're doing some of the black and white stuff, elements of colour were, created really well. I just think, overall, Taika is seen as, this comedy director, and he definitely is that, and this film has his funny streak all the way through it. But I do think he's developing this really cool, unique visual style. We saw it with Ragnarok, and I think it's really well developed here. Could I have had a little bit more of a focused plot? Is it a little bit MCU generic apart from some of Taika's flourishes? Yes. Was I still having a very good time? Yes. And it's definitely on the higher end of my enjoyment of Phase 4, which has been a bit naff. Right, this is the bit we've all been waiting for. Let's get Jess in. Hello, so this is Jess. Do you want to vaguely introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jess. I've been on here before. I'm Jess, and I've never seen MCU before.
So what were your overall thoughts?
So, my initial thoughts were that I didn't really like it, but that's purely because, MCU action, Marvel, that kind of thing, it just doesn't call to me. It doesn't spark, a thought for me. I just sit there. I don't really understand what's going on because I haven't watched anything that happened before. No idea who Thor was, no idea who Gore was, or Gok, or whatever his name was.
Gok?
Gok.
So Gore was a new character in this film.
Okay.
So, what did you... Let's talk about that. What did you think of that? Did you think it was a good villain arc? Did you think the fight scenes were cool with Gore? Because I personally thought the Christian Bale performance was really, really good. I liked a lot of his choices.
Which one was Gore again? He the Shadow Man?
Yes, he was the Shadow Man.
I thought he was the big fluffy teddy bear guy.
Big fluffy teddy bear?
Korg.
Him, Korg.
Teddy bear... Rockman.
Yeah.
Fraser is behind the camera, by the way. I'll give him a card.
I didn't really think he was that villainy. He didn't hold anyone to gunpoint. He...
You're in a massive village, it's alright.
He didn't kill anyone. All he did was kidnap a couple of children.
He killed all the gods!
Oh, yeah.
This is such good content!
I forgot that happened. So, at the beginning, because I thought that guy was The Rock, but was that the advert before? Because I got confused between when the adverts and the film was. No,
so that was the trailer for Black Adam.
Okay.
And then the film started.
Okay.
What did you think of Thor? What did you think of Chris Hemsworth?
Well, personally, I don't really find Chris Hemsworth that attractive, if I'm being totally honest.
What?
But I did find it quite funny when he did get his bum out. I already saw that bit on TikTok before. I found that quite funny because it was childish, and I'm a bit childish, if I'm honest.
So did you therefore like Taika Waititi's humour, as he is quite... that's his kind of
honestly,
humour?
I don't think I laughed throughout the whole film.
Are you soulless?
No.
Are you a bit dead inside?
Maybe. So I did have fun playing with my strawberry laces the whole time. I got 3 strings and started plaiting them. Yeah, I didn't really understand what was going on, because I don't know the context behind everything. And personally, I just don't find fight scenes that interesting. I find it quite boring, especially because they tend to go on for a really long time. So I'm sat there and in the back of my head I'm thinking, when is this over? So it's distracting me from the actual plot. And the plot itself didn't quite make sense. I was more intrigued about her having cancer than anything.
Because I thought that had a lot of like nice, like emotional beats to it, and especially because that's a character that's appeared before as
Really?
Well, I mean, you should know that Jane Foster's appeared before because they do quite a lot of like flashbacks, and they imply heavily that they've had a previous relationship.
Yeah, but I wasn't aware that there was another Thor.
What do you mean?
Before this.
What? So you weren't aware that Thor 4 was the fourth Thor?
I didn't know this was 4-4. No one told me that. I thought it was Thor: Love and Thunder.
It is Thor: Love and Thunder. It's the fourth Thor
Well,
film.
you didn't tell me that before.
Sorry.
Get it before.
Do I also
4-4?
need to tell you when the film starts? Can you name something you liked about the film?
But the thing is, I did like the background story of the gal who had cancer. Because
Well, so you liked the cancer girl.
I prefer it when they came into like the real world and not into like the MCU world. Like I liked it at the end when Thor was just
It's all in
cooking.
the MCU world. That's how universes work.
Okay, well when it was like on planet Earth,
Right. Okay. Why?
because I prefer the realistic stuff.
So you prefer the realistic stuff where there is a guy going around and butchering gods and a big bloke in a massive hammer who's clearly on steroids?
No, I didn't like that.
That isn't realistic, is it?
Alright, Jibs. It's just not my thing. I won't be going to watch it again. If anything, if I ever am forced to watch it, I will be playing Yahtzee instead. I'm pretending to watch it.
Right, I'm going to give you a space to have a little bit of a rant. What stuff weren't you keen on?
I don't like the end credits. Why is there a whole other film at the end that I have to wait half an hour for? I had to pee. Why am I then waiting? I counted it. The film finished at 9:20. We didn't get out until 9:40. Why am I waiting 20 minutes to see something I can Google?
Because
it doesn't
you
make
can't
any sense.
see it on the big
And
screen.
then it was a rubbish credit as well. Something about what's his name? Not Hercules, the son. What's his name?
Hercules.
Hercules is the son.
Hercules was
Bless
not on a
my
roll.
soul.
Hercules was not on the run. Herc is on a run.
Roll.
I said it the first time.
This is all being filmed, so
Yeah,
I can
so-
make you look like a right tit.
There wasn't any swearing in this film, so I wasn't that. Not that I'm a swearer, but
For example, Despicable Me doesn't have swearing in it, therefore do you not like it?
well, no, I do because I prefer children's films to like.
So it's
adult
okay for a
films.
children's film to not have swearing in it, but as soon as it's a 12-rated film, it must have
well,
extensive C words.
well, I thought that the MCU world was an adult's film.
They did also say shit.
They
Well,
also
I-
did say
I don't
shit
think I
quite a
heard
bit.
it. I don't
They
think
said
I was
shit every
listening that
scene.
well.
They said like 4 or 5 shits.
Yeah.
Also, most children's films aren't realistic.
Guys, I just didn't like it.
What? God, have some other ranty thing. What wasn't working for you?
I also didn't understand the bit at the end with the God's child being given to Thor.
What do you mean? You don't understand it.
You know the child, like who was
I
the
know what
child?
you mean, but I don't
Who
know
was the
why you don't
person who
understand
died?
it. Why? What confused you about it?
Where did the child come from?
Gore, penis.
Whose child is it?
Gore, penis.
Who's Gore?
We've done that one. Shadow Man.
When did he die?
What do you mean? When did Gore
When
die?
in the film did he die? I don't remember that happening.
The end. He didn't die halfway through. Otherwise, there'd be no film. It'd be a TV episode.
But then why was he given Gore's child?
Because he was on a moral journey and he decided.
But didn't Thor kill Gore then?
Sort of, not really.
Well, I'm confused. Viewers of the Nerdy Brit, I'm confused.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say on this matter?
The only one good thing is that it wasn't a really long film.
Yeah, it was less than 2 hours.
Yeah, which I
including
appreciate.
credits.
Which I appreciate.
I think it could have been a bit longer, to be fair.
No.
I'd have happily seen more Taika Waititi in the comedy.
Sure. That's a nice opinion to have. I don't agree with it, but okay. I'm going to respect that.
Thank you very much for watching.
I get confused between Marvel and the MCU.
You gotta keep
Put that at the start.
You gotta keep
Well, why?
Same thing. Literally same thing.
Okay, what's the other one then?
DC.
Marvel?
DC.
Sorry.
And if you want to see my review for Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness, you can kind of tell the vibe I went for. You can click the card over Jess's face. Thank you very much. Yeah. I don't know why you're smiling or looking.
Bye, guys!
God,
Do
maybe
we need to get a thumbnail?
No, I saw that in a sec. Oh my
Sorry.
God, you're such a bad YouTuber.
Sorry!
Amateurs.
YouTuber, I've got one
No,
video.
that works. That's great outro content.